Hi everyone!
Hello!
Welcome to our other MSI Insider weekly live stream. And today we're going back in time.
Yeah, look at the wallpaper.
We redecorated our studio.
Yeah, we asked your designers.
So this is all real.
Yeah, make something old, and he came up with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please let us know if you like it or not in the chat. Something else. Currently, I hear some thunder and lightning outside.
Yeah, it's bad weather.
Yeah. So if the stream all of a sudden drops, then you know what the reason is.
then we got hit by lightning.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, today we're going to talk about old hardware. So we're going to talk about mainboards and VGAs from 2005.
Actually, we were planning from 2005, from 2014. So then we were gathering hardware and brochures and all kinds of stuff. And we found so many things that we decided to do 5 years now. So today we're going to
first it was like we were going to do all, then it was like 15, then maybe we split up in 2 times 10.
We had to narrow it down a little bit because it was way too much and it would take way too long. So today we'll do 2005 to 2009, and I think in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, probably beginning of April, the 10th of April, I'm probably going to do a second part. Then we're going to talk 2010 to 2015.
Okay.
Because then you're on business trip, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe you know, before 2005, you're really talking about a long time ago in mainboard and VGA history. We don't have a lot of samples here on hand.
No.
So we need to check.
So we tried to gather as far back as we could.
Yeah, but so maybe we will also later on have a stream about 2000 to 2005. But that's maybe
if we
about
can
pixels.
Still find some stuff.
And black and white.
Yeah. Yeah, we can still see. And with those old big monitors maybe.
Anyway, for today we have a giveaway as well. Please go to msi.com/2/insider. You see there a button, click on it, and you can do several actions to get more points. The more points you have, the bigger chance you have in winning a Steam game voucher. We give away several during these live streams, so please stay tuned. And yeah, where are we going to start? 2005? 2005? Yeah.
Oh, we almost forgot to mention, in the end we're going to play a very popular game from back in the day.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Unreal Tournament, and
Unreal Tournament 2004 we're going to play?
He has esports settings and he is able to beat me each shot.
Eric is a little bit too slow for Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, I'm getting too old.
But you guys will see that later.
No. Yeah. Well, at least I will probably get one. How many is like the round? How many kills? 20?
I think it's set to 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes, okay.
So
I hope at least to get one kill.
Yeah, that should be doable.
So I get a question. Yeah, I will post a link in the chat, the direct link.
Also, if you have any questions in between about old hardware or the stories behind, please ask them. Especially Eric has been in MSI for a long time. How many years have you been in MSI?
1 moment. So I just posted the link for the chat. I started working in MSI in 2002, I believe. And I first did like 6 years sales. And then I moved to marketing, and yeah, first was like more brochures and this kind of thing, and then slowly in the years after I also helped with developing our products.
So you sold a lot of the old stuff that we're going to see today.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, I would say let's get started. So
back to 2005.
Yeah, so we start 2005, right?
Yeah. So let me grab some stuff because I have a lot of stuff here in the corner. So
okay,
sometimes you'll see me disappear.
Yeah, so on the background you already see 955X Platinum, which is an Intel board from that time, and a GeForce 7900 GTX. So maybe some of you got it. Please let us know. Or you had it in that time. So
look what we have here. You see that logo?
Yeah, that's an old MSI logo.
That's the old MSI logo.
Yeah.
Maybe we can show it. Can you show it from close?
Yeah. So my style inside. So the MSI logo also changed like each 5 to 10 years, right?
Yeah, I think we're a couple of versions further now.
Yeah.
And it was all still in blue and white.
Yeah, so basically this was a brochure which we gave away on the events like Computex or CES or CeBIT. You still had it at that time. Yeah, so now CeBIT is nothing. And in this brochure you had a lot of, actually most of our products listed.
Back in the day you still had paper instead of pixels, what you have now.
Yeah, yeah. Now everything is digital, but
Yeah.
then also we did business via the fax. So I will show you some products which you can find in this one. Let me see. 925 XE Neo Platinum.
We're already getting a few compliments in chat about our new background.
Yeah. So maybe you show us some boards.
Yeah, I have some old stuff here. So let's start here, because it has some very old-fashioned stuff. Let me show it in the front. This is the K8N Neo 2 board.
Wow. This is socket 939. So maybe somebody remember 939?
So it's an old AMD board, but back then it still had an NVIDIA chipset. So it's an M4
I see already somebody
chipset.
saying DirectX 9. Yeah, those were
Yep.
the days.
And as you might be able to see, it still has an AGP slot instead of PCI Express.
But this was like AGP 8 times. You
Yeah,
before that
it
you
was
had
8 times.
AGP
4 times as well.
yeah, 4 times indeed, yeah.
So the slower ones.
So maybe put it on main again.
So this is a really, really old board. You can still see the chokes, they're still open.
Yeah. So over here, you know, the first thing I think everybody will see is the colors, you know, a lot of colors. And back in the day, we did this because of color management. Later, you know, in the end, I will talk a little bit about what we changed, because now everybody knows us from our black main boards with either red or gray colors in it. We also had some yellow main boards.
So now we have RGB lighting, but back then we had actual RGB
yeah,
components on our
RGB
motherboards.
boards, yeah, without LED.
And you couldn't change it.
Yeah, they did this because of color coding. You know, it was very easy in the manual to say if you have for example, an orange SATA cable connected to the orange connector. Well, you know, that was logical. But then the year after, the slots were still orange, but somebody ordered black cables or something, and the manual was not correct anymore. So, but this was basically, you know, to make it easy for the manual. You know, green was Firewire. You still remember this Firewire? It used to be a very popular
Like
connector.
the old Thunderbolt, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much the old Thunderbolt. This was
faster storage.
with webcam, not webcams, like camcorders.
Yeah, camcorders. and external hard drives if you
yeah,
want to have faster than USB.
So actually on the back I/O here you see, maybe you show.
Yeah, I can show.
That's easier. So maybe you can point out Firewire. So this is a.
By the way, this is green, but because we're using a green screen,
Yeah.
it turns a bit grayish now. So let me see. There we have the Firewire port.
Yeah.
And if you still
This
have
was Firewire 400, I believe. You also
Yeah,
had
I think so.
Firewire 800, but that
Yeah.
was. I mean, I think Apple used 800.
yeah, I think and some workstation boards also.
Yeah.
have. You can already see a dual gigabit LAN here,
Wow.
which was quite interesting at the time. To
Somebody
use that.
saying, "Whoa, that active cooling." Yeah, Cassidy. I mean, back in the days that
Yeah, we
was
have it.
quite normal, and not only that, you had it was quite needed because the chipsets or the chip at some moment became quite
pretty hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the I/O,
Hello,
if you still
Japan.
have an old printer, you will need this one.
Yeah,
So,
so that's a
serial port.
Serial port indeed. And below that you see the green one, which is not actually green, the COM port.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have parallel and serial port.
hmm
Yeah, so so a lot of old technology on this board, and maybe you can show the chokes, because at that moment I think everybody now is solid chokes, but that moment we
There
still
they
had
are.
yeah. Sorry, I was talking about capacitors. Sorry, I'm confused.
Capacitors here. Yeah, there are
Yeah, so
no
the
solid caps yet.
chokes are
close it a little.
open. Talking about color wine.
Yeah.
And the capacitors were indeed what we call liquid capacitors.
There you can see the capacitors,
Yeah.
and further on, these are the chokes.
And the lifetime of those capacitors back in the days was not really good at all, because, you know, they pop and
Yeah,
they
so
can liquid
often,
out.
if a motherboard broke, it was because of the capacitors that started leaking. And talking about leaking capacitors, I have another motherboard right here with a capacitor that actually started leaking. So you can already see it here on the... It started leaking over the clips for the memory slots.
Yeah,
So that's why we're using solid caps these days.
indeed.
And here you can already see some differences. This is actually a dual socket board.
This was more like a workstation board.
Yeah.
So you had a dual sockets. Maybe show a main. Yeah, like this. Yeah.
This is the K8N Master, by the way.
Yeah. So dual socket. On this one was single socket, and this one was called 939, and this one was called socket 9340. Yeah. Besides that,
so 1 pin difference, 939 and 940.
This one still had the HFP slot, which is the red slot here, but this one already had PCI Express slots.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting because this one is running an NVIDIA chipset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, both are. This one is running the Enforce Pro 2200, I believe.
Yeah.
And this one is still running the Enforce 3 chipset.
So maybe you can show the SLI, I think we call it SLI selector.
There it is.
Yeah, so there was a small PCB. You needed to turn around to switch from one PCI Express slot, X16, to 2x8.
Yeah. So you had to manually switch it around.
Yeah. And later, on I think next generation, maybe we will see, you had the digital switches. But the digital switches were quite expensive at that moment, so PCB was cheaper and everybody went for the PCB.
Another difference we can see here, because we're dealing with
Maybe show like this.
A dual socket board here. And on this one, you need, of course, a bigger VRM, because you need to power 2 CPUs essentially.
Yeah.
So here you can already see the first heat sinks popping up on the VRM.
Yeah, so this one didn't have any heat sinks at all. There were mainboards, also consumer mainboards with had heat sinks, but it was, you know, they were not designed like the rest of the mainboard. It was more functional than look and feel.
Yeah, so these are also still basic grey heat sinks.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different nowadays.
Yeah, also here at the bottom, maybe show like this. Those, yeah, well, at the bottom, now at the top, you see a floppy drive connector and 2 IDE slots. Let me get the camera, folks. Yeah.
And they were not only for your hard drive, but also your optical drive, for example.
Yeah,
They all went through IDE. And also an interesting one, the ATX plug you see here, where you connect your power supply to the motherboard.
This one?
Yeah, it's still a 20-pin plug, whereas nowadays we have 24-pin.
So basically you need an old power supply in order. That's also, you know, we talked about when we wanted to do this live stream, are we going to run these systems live? And then we said, oh my god, with all the drivers, the power supplies.
And we still had to find the CPUs.
Yeah, I mean Windows then came on a CD-ROM and maybe even on floppy, right?
I think this era was CD-ROM.
Yeah.
I think this is Windows XP.
Windows XP, yeah.
So
is it Windows XP? Let me cheat.
Yeah, that was later on.
Yeah. Actually, this was also the year, because now we have 2 AMD boards here. On the background you see an Intel board.
Just move to the side a little bit.
Yeah, so this was also the year that AMD sued Intel. Because some anti-competitive behavior in the market. And AMD filed a lawsuit against them, and I think it still took like 3 years or something before there was a conclusion. But we also have some VGA, right? Some interesting VGA cards.
There we go.
Because on the back here you see a NVIDIA VGA card, 7800 GTX, I think it's called. Back in the day, GTX was behind the name, the 7800. And what is this?
This is the X850 XT. So
AMD?
No. Back then it was still ATI.
ATI?
ATI.
Okay.
So this was before ATI was acquired by AMD.
Yeah.
And this is actually a really interesting addition. Maybe I can show you up front, because we have 2 connectors on this card. So one is just a regular DVI right there. But the one here, as you can see, is a little different. And that's because this is the Crossfire edition of the X850 XT. So we have an additional cable here. And you actually plug it right into this Crossfire port. You can still see the ATI logo on the back. And then you connect it to, on the other side, to a regular X850 XT graphics card. So you had one regular card and one Crossfire edition card. And with the combination you could run Crossfire. So you didn't have a bridge like you had later on, but you still had one of these cables. And you still needed like an actual Crossfire edition card to run it in Crossfire. Whereas later on, with the newer ATI and AMD cards, you could just buy 2 of the same cards. You didn't need a specific Crossfire edition anymore. So you can already see at the cooler as well, that's a lot different. It's still, like back in the day, you had like a standard design, and actually the only thing we pretty much changed were the stickers on top of there. So now we have all these custom designed graphics cards.
At that moment, everybody had the same kind of coolers on the VGA cards. The PCB was just custom designed, so ATI, not AMD. They gave us a PCB design, and here you have it. You can copy this in the factory. Of course, sometimes we could do optimizations, either make it more phases or something. But the cooler was also pretty standard.
Yeah.
That was the business back then.
But already dual slot cooler.
So no HDMI, no DisplayPort, it's all from later.
Yeah, all from later.
Okay. But it was already then in the market, right? But not on VGA cards.
Yeah, it was already.
I think 1 year later you had the converter plugs.
Yeah.
Okay, quite interesting. Any questions or any memories from 2005, a long time ago? Yeah, like in these brochures, I can show you some
old stuff.
yeah, well, for example, let me talk about this. There is a small chip on board. This chip over here. It's MSI Core Cell. That was a quite interesting chip at that moment. And I have it there in the brochure, what it can all do. You know, it's for management of the whole system. But one feature was called DOT, Dynamic Overclocking Technology. And it was quite useful, because basically when your mainboard was running under full load or under high load, the clock was the FSB, the frontside bus, it was called, or the hypertransport bus. At that moment, it was going faster, so it was getting overclocked. Very useful, because when you are pushing the limits, you need more power. So basically, this was something like now the dynamic overclock technology from NVIDIA and Intel in the CPUs. However, it was quite tricky, because we found out, in the end everybody found out, how did they achieve this? They just measured the temperature of the fan, and if it was getting hot, they were thinking, okay, it's hot, so it's under full load, let's overclock. So basically it had nothing to do with cooling or quiet. It was more like, hey, you are getting hot, you're using a lot of wattage, so you're generating heat, let's turn it up, let's make it even faster. But in the end, you know, it worked, and it was one of the first technologies to overclock the FSB automatically in the background. Quite nice. So part of MSI Core Cell DOT, Dynamic Overclock Technology.
I see in chat some people already have nostalgic feelings when we're talking about ADI.
Core Cell sounds cool. Yeah. Yeah, this is a long time ago. This is 2005. So let's maybe go to the year after.
2006.
Hey, easy.
Let me first clean up a little bit.
Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select a winner. Let me check. Winners. Oh, I only have a button for winners, not for losers.
So if you haven't signed up yet, please do so. Go to msi.com/2/insider. You will see, before you sign in into Gleam, you have a couple of actions you can do. And the more actions you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win.
Yeah, so Christopher Johanning, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, in the coming days we will send you a Steam voucher per email. Thanks for participating. So anybody else, if you want to have a chance on winning, go to msi.com/2/insider. I'll also paste the direct link in the from Gleam in the chat, so you can participate.
So we have a new stack of brochures to start with.
Like that. And you have a new slide. Let me see. So what's that on the background?
So we have the 975X Platinum motherboard.
Can you show? I see active fan.
Let me just move to the side a little bit. So that's an Intel LGA 775 motherboard. I actually had the slightly newer version of this one, because this one still has a fan on the North Bridge.
You were like 15 and you had this mainboard?
Yeah.
Rich parents?
No.
Oh.
Working in the fields and stuff.
Working in the supermarket?
No, not yet. I was too young for the supermarket, but you could already work with the plants and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of saving to finally
tomatoes.
be able to...
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So
because this was one of the high-end mainboards.
Yeah. So this was like the high-end platform. Like nowadays you also have mainstream platform, high-end platform, and back then you had the 965p was the mainstream platform, and the 975X was the high-end platform.
Yeah.
And the difference was also if you were using multiple graphics cards with the 975X, you could actually have 8 lanes on both PCI Express slots, whereas on the 965 you could only have 16.4. So your second graphics card was bottlenecked.
This one also had the digital switches already. It's not the let's say the PCB between you need to switch or turn around.
And this one still had active fan on the North Bridge. But I think.
So you say North Bridge. So at this moment, mainboard still had a North Bridge and a South Bridge.
There were separate chips.
Yeah, so 2 separate chips. AMD integrated around that time already. But the memory controller, which is now in the CPU, was also in the North Bridge. So memory performance was not that great. We're talking about DDR2 memory. In MSI mainboards from this period, you can always recognize them on the green and orange slot. That was for us DDR2, the color coding. Yeah. I still remember.
The other ones are blue and pink.
Yeah.
But we'll see that later on.
Yeah.
We will go further.
So this was actually the moment that Intel Congo. Core to Duo.
Yeah. And that was quite a big revolution for the speed of CPUs for Intel. Yeah. So you had the E6600, which was the Core to Duo.
Very popular at that moment.
Very popular. Yeah. It was, you could overclock the hell out of it. It was super fast once you overclocked it. I think the default speed was, I believe, 2.4 gigahertz, and most people could easily overclock it to like 3.6 gigahertz stable. At
that moment you could still do like double overclock almost, like big steps.
Definitely. And you also had the first quad core of that generation, the Core 2 Quad. Yeah. So let me see, that was the
QX 6700.
Let me get it right.
Yeah, we had some notes because we're old, you know, this is a long time ago, so we...
And the X was that you also had an unlock multiplier. Yeah. Because with the regular one, you had a fixed multiplier.
Like now the extreme editions, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like or the K version. Yeah. Ooh, I'm already, well, on the...
These were the extreme editions, and now you have the K version.
Yeah.
And on the AMD side, there was also a transfer to more cores. You already had, you got socket AM2 then. So in the previous generation, we still had socket 939, and then we had AM2. And there
show some of the. Let me start here.
Yeah, so here we have the Intel boards we were just talking about, the 975X Platinum.
Also, NVIDIA chipset at that moment, right? The PN SLI XE. NVIDIA was still producing chipsets for motherboards.
Yeah, NVIDIA was also producing a lot of chipsets for AMD board. It's maybe a little bit hard to imagine now, because now AMD and NVIDIA are obviously
and these are the more entry-level mainboards. You even, let me see on this side, you see VIA and SYS. The P4M is VIA and the 662 is a SYS chipset. What are they now doing? VIA.
That's a good question, actually.
Still some CPUs or something?
Not for consumer market at least, but I'm not sure.
And SYS? I'm still in this.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So, long time ago.
And then we also had some.
Yeah, so you have some board here as well.
I have some board here as well. Let me just show it in front.
Compared to last generation, you already see some details. Yeah, sorry for the green. It's a green screen, guys.
So you can already see the name here. It's a K.
So somebody's saying my first was a Q9550, 4 gig and 8800 GTS.
Oh, that's still new compared to what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
But I see another reaction in chat talking about history. My first computer was a Timex 2048. That was in the 80s. So unfortunately, we couldn't find stuff that old anymore. We didn't have that, unfortunately.
Well, we will have a look. It will take a little bit longer to prepare, but we will have a look. You know,
and we can still see what we can find.
Yeah.
But let's first take a look at this board.
Yeah, so I think the first thing what you see, there is still active fan on there. Can you maybe turn a little bit around?
Maybe it's hard to see like this. But
so there's still an active fan on there. But you see there's a copper, I would say copper chipset cooler on it. So you have the north and south bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have the north bridge, and there you have the south bridge.
Yeah. BIOS is in the socket, and at the bottom.
Let me see.
There
we are.
That's the BIOS in a socket. So this is also a more high-end board. Actually, this was one of the high-end, most high-end board at that moment. K9N. N is K was AMD. 9 was I don't know. 9 NVIDIA. The N is NVIDIA.
N is NVIDIA, but this is like the previous series were the 8 series. These are the 9 series.
Indeed, yeah.
And Diamond was even the higher position version than Platinum, which we saw in previous.
So some changes already. Digital switches on this one to do Crossfire or SLI. Compared to the last one, you have more SATA connectors, and I think this one is even SATA. Was it SATA 2 already or not?
Not sure about this one.
Not yet.
I think this is still
SATA 1, yeah. So SATA 150, right?
And now you can see that it has only one IDE port.
Yeah, so at that moment, the hard drives, let me go to the main slide. So the hard drives were transferring from IDE, the old interface, or ATA, was it that called? ATA, what was it? ATA 150?
Yeah, you had 150.
Yeah. So, and then SATA also had SATA 150, but became later SATA 300 and SATA 600, or what you now all know. So we're not talking about SSDs, just from the interface wise. There's still hard drives at that moment.
Hard drives and also optical drives that you connected through.
The IDE, you know, the big cables, the flat cables, were a nightmare to put in your system.
I actually back in the day I had, because I still had a window in my computer case, and I had those rounded IDE cables.
Oh, very expensive.
They were quite expensive, but they were very useful because the flat cables were super hard.
I never liked them because of the signal. I had the IDE because when they're all stacked together, that it would cost me transfer rate.
No, it worked perfectly fine.
Okay. So, but in this board, so the last generation you had like 2 IDE slots, here only 1. Yeah. Still 1 floppy connector, but that was there quite a long time. But in the end also went out. The SATA connectors are still not angled, so they're not at the side of the PCB. Was not a priority at that moment. Let me see if we already have some. Yeah, still FireWire is on the board.
Yeah, it's also on the I/O.
Yeah, and we see, I don't know what this one is, but the first switch.
Maybe to clear CMOS, I think.
Let me see.
I'm not sure actually.
Can you show in the camera?
Yeah. I would say it's clear CMOS.
Yeah. And maybe you can also show the chokes.
Yep.
You have the chokes on the memory. Yeah. So these chokes are closed.
Yeah.
And the last generation we showed you already open chokes. And here you still have one there. Probably the input power.
Let me right there.
Yeah. So that's still an open choke. And memory was also open chokes. But still no cooling on the board on the VRM.
No, not on the VRM, but you can see a
lot
of
talking
cooling
about
on the
RTX.
That's still in the future.
Yeah.
And the cooling, also very interesting, in between the north and south bridge. You actually had a copper heat pipe.
Yeah.
So it's also quite a difference from the previous generation.
Yeah. So ATI even had chipsets. I can show you.
Yep.
Let me show. This one is. Let me see which one is ATI. Oh, ATI. Yeah, here. Oh, sorry. This one. ATI Radeon Express 200 chipset. Quite popular at that moment. But
yeah, it was.
This was one of the first, I think it was actually the second generation, what later became the AMD chipsets, because AMD was bought, ATI was bought by AMD, and that actually was announced in 2006. 2006 was also the year Twitter launched. So Twitter, the first time they went online with the website was 2006. I think it was the iPhone, first iPhone.
With a very small screen.
Yeah, I bought that one.
You had that one?
Yeah, I had that one. I went to the UK to buy it because in Holland where we are located.
So you were like in the line for 2 days?
No. It was a few months after.
Okay.
There was enough supply. But yeah, I was an early adapter. And now not anymore. But at that moment I was, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like one of the first smartphones that you can still compare with current generation smartphones. Like the principle is still the same.
Leslie remembers Dr. Moss. Yeah, the Mosmet and the driver into
Dr. Moss
one.
we will definitely get
back
to
we
later
will have
on.
later. Yeah, indeed, nice. Dr. Moss was a really nice period. Do we have some other boards of VGA for this period?
We definitely have some. We can already see on the back.
Yeah.
Behind us, you have the X1900 XTX. So you had XT, and then you had like the extreme version of the XT was the XTX. And I really wanted that card back in the day, but I couldn't afford it.
So maybe you should sell your mainboard?
Yeah, perhaps. But like graphics cards.
This was still DirectX 9 or DirectX 10 already?
This is still DirectX 9.
Yeah, DirectX 9. Yeah.
So I think in 2006 I still had an X850, the one we saw previously. I had the Pro version, so one tier below.
I will show you some VGA cards from this period. This one I think we have here. This one?
I have several VGA cards.
Okay.
Here. So let me just grab a bunch. So which one were you pointing at?
I was pointing at the 7950 GX2.
We do have that one.
Cool.
I think.
So passive cooled. This one passive cooled. Wow.
I found it. I think we should show it there because it's this is a green card.
How are we going to do this?
I think if you do the close-up cam and now switch off chroma key.
Okay.
So now everything will turn green, but that's the only way to show this graphics card because back in the day you still had green coolers, green PCB. Okay, there we go.
So this was a dual PCB card with 2 GPUs on there.
Yeah, it's like 2 graphics cards on top of each other, and it's like SLI in one card already. So you can see it has 2 separate coolers. So this is a 7950.
But this one was really expensive, right?
It was really expensive, yeah. Because essentially it were
two
VGA graphics cards
in
one, 2 GPUs on there.
And this was, I think after this they also had one with 2 GPUs inside, like 2 PCBs, right?
Yeah.
And
we
after that,
also had that one. We'll show it later on.
Cool.
But still, you can see a very small fan compared to what you see nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's a bit hard to see, but in between there is also a fan. It's not just a heatsink. There is also the same fan below.
Yeah.
And
only one power connector.
Yeah.
6-pin even.
One 6-pin was still enough back then. And here you got 2 DVIs and S-video output.
S-video out, yeah. So 2006, still no HDMI on VGA cards?
No, not yet.
So I'm going to switch back. You still have other green PCB cards?
No, my next card is not green anymore.
Okay.
So we can switch it on again. So this was a big step for NVIDIA.
Yeah, 8800 GTX.
Yeah. So
and GTS you also had, right?
Yeah, later on you also had the GTS, but they launched with the GTX first, so 8800 GTX, and this was the first DirectX 10 graphics card that NVIDIA launched. So here we can already see that we're shifting towards 2 power connectors, and the cooler is a lot bigger fan.
I need a Q3 brochure or a Q4 brochure. This is Q4.
And this was crazy fast compared to the generations before.
Yeah. So at that moment we are talking about Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
From Microsoft, Garry's Mod.
Garry's Mod, I actually sometimes play Garry's Mod.
Yeah.
Prop Hunt. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
It's like within Garry's Mod there is a game mode, and you can you actually become an item in the playing field. So, for example, you're a soda vending machine, and then, and then they have to hunt you, and you can hide in items. So quite interesting. Garry's Mod was indeed very popular back then. So that
I think this was also the year the Wii launched.
the Wii,
Yeah, 2006.
I remember that
Because
it looked really silly when you had the curtains open and people were walking by.
You
and
had
playing
then
on
the GameCube or something, I think, at that moment.
GameCube, yeah, that was before the
Yeah,
Wii. Yeah.
and then the Wii swept the whole market. You know, they took a lot of market share. Really became popular.
And they also took a lot of lights, like people smacking
Yeah,
them
and
down.
TVs.
And TVs.
Yeah.
Like people who didn't use the cord and accidentally
And
slipped
what
it.
is this red one?
So, quite interesting. It doesn't have any graphics output, and it already says what it is. It's a physics card.
Yeah. So this is actually a dedicated physics card from IGEA. And this was 2006. Was dedicated hardware. We didn't sell this separately. This was no retail product from MSI. We made this for an OEM customer.
Yeah.
Which one doesn't matter. You can guess in the chat. That's why we have it here as well. I think does it say, MSI?
It is MSI branded, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's MSI branded.
But it was only
MSI
used
on the
by
front.
system integrators.
Yeah, by system integrators. Really, you know, quite some hardware. Quite some games which were using it. But in the end, Nvidia bought it. I don't know which year they bought it, but I think a few years later, right?
Yeah, shortly after.
Yeah.
And it was actually like buying a physics card back then. Now it's very common that your graphics card can do the physics calculations, but back then it was quite expensive to have a separate card.
I think at that moment,
PC.
you know, physics was quite new in games because you had a
was
lot
very
of
new,
demos,
yeah.
like with the rage dolls, the fluid demos,
Yeah.
those kind of
And it
demos.
was very impressive, like what it could do, because it could do like really impressive calculations.
And now it's standard in each game.
Yeah, now it's very standard.
Some better than others.
Yeah.
But
before physics existed, like in the world, nothing really, like with explosions, you had like one explosion and everything on the side was just standing still, nothing happened. And
Somebody
with physics, that all responded to each other.
GTX 260. Yeah, we also have that, right?
We do.
Is that the generation after this? No, 9000.
Yeah.
Still. Right. So let's move to.
Let me first clean up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
We need some more space.
I will do a giveaway. Don't mind our wallpaper. Let's do a lucky draw. So our second winner is. Prima MM. Prima MM. Congratulations. In the coming days we will send you a Steam voucher. Thanks for joining. Thanks for participating. So if you want to participate in the giveaway, please go to msi.com/do/insider. I will also post the Gleam link in the chat, so you guys can go directly over there. So, and the next year is 2007. So we still have these kind of colorful products like this P35. I think the code name was Beer Lake or something.
Oh, that's a long time
Or
ago.
maybe for the CPU or the chipset, because
be.
I still remember we were at Computex, so back in 2007, and then we had trainings, and the packing, maybe we have it here, the packing was like a beer claw.
Okay.
Why is that? Yeah, it's Beer Lake or something. I don't know if it was Beer Lake. So maybe you got, oh, here we have it. You see? It was a claw of a robot bear.
So P35.
P35.
The one we see behind us, the Platinum edition?
Like this one.
Yeah, it's the bear claw. Like the one we have behind me, the P35 Platinum. That was the board I had after the 975X.
You know what nickname this board had?
The roller coaster edition.
The roller coaster edition, yeah.
And this board was super painful.
I know. Hey.
I had like the old big copper cooler, and it had a lot of sharp copper edges, so I already had to be careful there. But then with my knuckles, I hit the heatsink of the roller coaster on the motherboard, and it ripped your knuckles open so easily.
This, was bandage, blood.
So you always cut your fingers when installing your CPU cooler here.
Yeah, I still remember. But it looked,
first
of all,
awesome.
It looked nice. Well,
it was
awesome.
super cool.
And it worked.
Yeah,
it really worked because this generation was quite hot. You even see the VRM.
Yeah. And the loopings are actual heat pipes.
Yeah, actually heat pipes, so it worked really well. P35. What CPU did we have for that? Let me check.
P35 was like when we had the transfer, you had the Conroe. They were still 65 nanometer. And then we went to Wolfdale. And that was 45 nanometer.
Yeah.
And for the transfer to 45
so we're talking
nanometer,
about E68500 or 50, sorry. Q6600.
The Q6600, that was still 65 nanometer.
Yeah.
That was the quad
very
core,
popular
like
one.
the quad core version of the E6600. Yeah. And then on 45 nanometer, you had the E8400, the 8500, and later on they also launched the 8600. And those were overclocking monsters.
Yeah.
Like they were a lot cooler than the 65 nanometer, so they could clock a lot further. And the 8600 broke a lot of records in combination with the P35 chip.
Merrick is asking, how are you all keeping these hardware in such good condition?
Not all of this hardware is in good condition, but you'll see it later on.
It's of course a lot of scratches. We even some bent pins in the socket. We even don't know if they work, and some are really damaged. But this was quite easy to get. We still had some samples laying around for testing, etc. But before 2005, it's very difficult for us to find hardware. So
let's grab some more boards, because we have some actual boards from that era as well.
Yeah.
This still is a really old-fashioned one.
So this is NVIDIA, right?
Yeah, and this is still...
Enforce 3?
Ooh, I'm not... No, is it? No.
Enforce indeed.
Yeah, but it's not the Enforce 3.
Oh, this is the
MCP,
MCP16S.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's but single chip.
Yeah.
So maybe...
I can show it in front of the camera.
So single chipset.
So only there.
Yeah. Passive cooled.
So this is the AM2 socket as well, only 2 memory slots. This is micro ATX board. And on here, for example, the PCI Express slot, it only had 8 lanes. So regular on the higher end.
This was an entry level board.
Yeah, so on the higher tier motherboards you had 16 lanes on PCI Express. This one still had 8. So here you can really see it's quite a basic board. So here it also has a red PCB. And for the higher tier boards, we have black PCB. So here I have another board, and this one is really cool. So this is the X38 Diamond board. And as you can already see, it has quite extensive cooling on not only the north and the south bridge, but it goes all the way up to the power delivery circuit for the CPU. And the hole in there, that's where you can actually connect it to your custom water loop. So you can use your custom water cooling to cool the VRM of the motherboard, the north bridge and the south bridge. So it goes all the way through there.
Yeah, so this was 2007.
Yeah, 2007.
And this one was custom made by a German company.
The water cooling.
The water cooling block, yes. So this was really high end, quite expensive. I don't think we sold a lot. Because
this was a really high-end board.
Yeah,
really
water cooling was quite a niche. But still, it was the moment that the chipsets were still generating a lot of heat. And overclocking was popular because all the chipsets and CPUs, could really overclock in those days.
Yeah.
This was maybe, I don't want to say one of the high times in the overclocking scene, but this is where it was very popular.
It was very popular.
Yeah.
With,
and that's also why we came up with this board. I think if you look at this board, a lot of
a lot of colors also.
There's still a lot of colors.
Yeah.
But the first thing, maybe you can show this one as well. You see the difference in memory slots. Well, this one you don't see the green slots, but this one has orange and green slots, which is DDR2. This one has pink. I don't know who picked this color, not me. I hope. And blue. This was DDR3. So it was a big step. And at that
but
moment,
it was still not on all X38 boards. Like some boards still had DDR2, but especially the higher tier board, because DDR3 memory was very expensive then. So
very expensive.
Very expensive.
I think it took 1.5 years.
Yeah, until it was the same price.
Before it was the same price, so it took quite a long period. But at the beginning, when DDR3 launched on these boards, of course, you needed to have it. So what normally happens in the high-end boards, in the high-end of your lineup, you already start with DDR4. But at the same time, you still have, DDR3. At the same time, you still have DDR2.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the bottom of your stack, you only have DDR2. So then the year after, the top becomes DDR3 only, and it, slowly, it enters entry level. But this took like 1.5 year.
And even on the high end, because X38 is like the high end platform, you had P38 for the mainstream, and even on the high end platform, not all of the boards had DDR3 already.
No. The price gap was really massive, and
so it's only the top tier boards, like with the water cooling, like. If you go all the way, then you had DDR3.
Yeah, because performance gap was not that massive in the beginning. Because what happens when there's a new memory standard? In the beginning, they always have the conservative JDEC speeds. They don't have overclocking memory for the new standard.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is the old DDR2 at this moment, DDR2 already has higher clock speeds than is introduced at DDR3, which means for the speed gap, you don't have to buy the new memory, so you only are stuck with the cost gap.
Because I think when DDR3 started was 1066.
Could be, yeah. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, and the higher tier DDR2 kits, I think you could even get them up to 1200 megahertz. So that's really the high tier DDR2 was at least as fast as the lower tier DDR3.
Yeah.
And because DDR3 was really expensive, many people were still sticking to DDR2.
So another thing what you see on this board, and this is one of the higher end boards, only one, actually P35 removed IDE from the chipset. So the only way, and also floppy, I believe.
Yeah.
So the only way we could introduce this, and a lot of customers still had their IDE hard drives or CD-ROMs. It was not so much about the hard drives, because most of them already moved to
bigger capacities
to
and
SATA
faster drives. Yeah.
But it was more like optical
drives.
CD writers at that moment was
they
still
never
very popular.
changed their optical drive. Like you buy it and you use it for 6, 7, 8 years.
So that's why here there is an extra chip. I'm not sure which one it is. I think either the Marvel or Silicon Image. I think the Marvel. The Marvel probably is for the extra IDE connector. So this also came at an extra cost, of course. Then the purple slots are SATA 2.
Yeah.
So that's SATA 300.
Yeah, on X38 you got PCI Express 2.0.
Yeah, so this is also indeed PCI Express 2.0.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the high-end platform is that you had 2 times 16 lanes. So with P35 you had 16 and 4
So the high-end
lanes.
X38.
Yeah. So with the mainstream you only had 16 and 4. So if you wanted to do dual graphics cards, which was still very viable back then, like nowadays we always advise to pick one graphics card, like a faster one rather than 2 slower ones.
Yeah.
But back then it was a really good option to buy 2 mid-range cards, and they were really fast in combination with each other.
Yeah. At this was, I think, also the period that Intel was really strong, CPU-wise. And this is also why the chipsets were more from AMD and ATI. Let's say AMD already at that moment, I believe. And Nvidia were more pushed to the entry-level boards. So the M-Force period, It was not really over, but phasing out. And yeah, Intel with these boards really strong.
And this was also the year that Intel released their quad-core 45 nanometer chip, the QX 9650.
Yes,
I
yes,
think.
Yorkfield.
Yeah. So that was.
I'm reading.
You're cheating.
I'm cheating.
But that was a crazy fast CPU. So
Yeah.
also the X series, so an unlock multiplier.
Yeah.
And you could really overclock the hell out of it on
So,
boards like this.
This is also maybe interesting. Can you show?
Yeah.
I think this is one of the not the first board. So over there, that thing, it's one of the first LEDs on the board to show error codes. So this is a well, long error code with 4 digits, but it could display 4 digits. Oh, the floppy drive is at the bottom. I now see.
Is it a floppy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's floppy.
Yeah. So still, floppy was still there.
Yeah. So here you have the IDE, and
Yeah.
there you have the floppy, and the IDE is angled here. So are the serial ADA ports.
Yeah. Part of right. Yeah. So
yeah, you still have 2
Yeah,
regular
yeah.
ones here.
2 regular ones, but
And
those
4
two
angled.
those 2 regular ones came with an extra controller. So
Yeah, because the chipset couldn't provide enough.
yeah, only chipset only did no, the chipset did 6 or 4 because we also have
we have
eSATA.
eSATA as well.
Yeah, at the back, the blue ones.
There they are.
Yeah, so the blue ones are eSATA, external SATA. Was I think it's introduced with SATA 2.
Yeah.
So SATA 300.
Mm-hmm.
It was to have external. You know, now this is all USB devices.
Yeah, but
Uh,
then you had
Then
like
this was a-
FireWire was getting old.
FireWire was getting
Yeah.
old. This was a very fast connector, also
Yeah.
for external. But it, you know, I wanted to say it's not really that popular. But I just yesterday I saw a hard disk in our office which still had this.
Yeah?
Yeah. Still
I
using
actually
it.
used it. External.
I
SATA.
also.
Yeah.
I had a nice enclosure, hard disk enclosure. You can just put in your computer, take it out. It was with eSATA connector. It's not like for on the go.
Yeah, I also had one of those, like hot swappable. You can easily put your hard drive in. They
My
were quite
first
good.
ever board was a 915 PL Neo F. I remember that one. Pentium 4, yeah.
That's about the era that I also built my first PC.
Super pipe. Yeah, super pipe. I think.
It's quite interesting. Edward his first PC is quite similar to what my first one was. I also had 915p,
Yeah, 2005, 2006. Yeah, that's. I think 2000.
but I had an older CPU. He had the 630. My first one was the 530. It was also 3 gigahertz, but it was still the older version. I think this one had more cache memory. It was a little bit faster.
Somebody's using the 580 GTX Lightning Extreme Edition. Still using, Phil, or you
That's an impressive
used to
card.
have it?
Also quite interesting on this board. On the I/O, you can. That's the CMOS button on the I/O panel. So if you didn't have to open your case, if you wanted to clear CMOS, you could just press it on the back. And here we can also find power and reset button on the board. If you were overclocking and you had
Yeah.
it on an open bench, you didn't have to use a screwdriver anymore to switch on your computer. You could just easily press the buttons here.
Yeah. So this was a big step forward. A lot of technology. You know, sometimes Intel or AMD as well, they have this. You know, they have a new chipset. What's new? Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
I think we just had one, right?
A new chipset.
Yeah.
With nothing in it.
Z370, Z390.
Yeah, there's a few.
What?
You have the MAC for the Wi-Fi, for example.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, true. Yeah.
You
correct.
have some small differences.
Yeah, but you know, in that generation,
Yeah.
like P35 was really a big step forward, innovation-wise. So, what about VGA in 2007?
I actually have one right here. So this is a GeForce 8600 GT. So
And
that
the
means-
back we have the 2900 XT.
Yeah. So the 2900 XT was like, I think that was the first ATI card with DirectX 10. So the first
Yeah.
real competitor for the
8800
8800
GT.
GTX.
Yeah.
And that was also, I think it had a 512-bit memory bus.
The ring bus. Was it not the ring bus? At that moment?
No, I think not. But it had a really wide memory bus, and it was it was really good for overclocking as well. So I think it broke a lot of records, especially with the crossfire on X38, for example.
It's quite interesting. If I read the brochures, this is the technology ready. So remember, this is 2000. Sorry about the colors and the webcam. This is 2007, so ready for PC 2008, heat pipe, direct stand, HD, DVD and Blu-ray. So this was still quite a big battle. Now I think we all know...
Do you still remember HD DVD?
Yeah.
I think like many people forgot about that it ever existed.
Yeah, I think Microsoft had it in the Xbox 360.
Yeah, like Microsoft was using HD
this
DVD.
was 2008, I believe.
Yeah, and Sony was using Blu-ray in their PlayStation.
Yeah, indeed.
And in the end, obviously, Blu-ray won the battle.
HDMI. So HDMI was, let's switch back to you.
Yeah, because that's quite interesting also about this card. It still has 2 DVI ports, so no HDMI yet.
But they were blue, right?
Yeah, they were blue.
But that was MSI blue. It's not like standard in the industry. It was MSI blue.
But the reason that these are blue and on previous cards they were white is that this also transfers audio over DVI.
Yeah.
So you can actually put an adapter on there to HDMI.
Yeah.
And you can have both your image signal and an audio signal.
This is probably why you still have the audio driver from Nvidia you can install.
Yeah.
That started with this.
Yeah. So first you always had to use a separate connector for your audio signal, but here you could actually use DVI also to transfer your audio signal. Yeah. And still has the old S-Video.
I think last generation which has it.
Yeah, I think pretty much. And no power connector, mid-range card.
So the brochure is also Windows Vista. That launched beginning of that year, I think. Vista actually launched in 2006 as a business model. And then in beginning of 2007 it launched for the consumer.
Did you directly transfer to Vista from XP? Just curious.
I don't. Of course, yeah. I tried it for sure. But
I also tried it.
But I didn't like all the colors and start. There was Start Me Up, right? Start Me Up.
Yeah.
But it was the start button.
Yeah.
No. I for sure tried it, but I was more like a Windows NT, Windows 2000 fan. So I liked Windows XP for sure.
Yeah, I've also, when Vista came out, I kept on using XP. But back then I was also still doing some overclocking and stuff. Mm-hmm. And XP gave you better results than Vista, because Vista was a bit harder on your computer. Because it had the, I think it was called the Arrow interface.
Yeah.
So indeed. With the transparent windows and stuff.
Hey, look, interesting. In the brochure, what kind of games we were playing at that moment. So it's the first Company of Heroes. I played that a lot. A lot of Rings and Dirt. Dirt, I think 4 just came out, right?
Is it 4? No, isn't it called 2.0? I haven't played it yet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't played it as well.
It's a bit complicated name.
But anyway, Company of Heroes. I spent, this maybe still is one of my favorite games.
Oh, we had a lot more cool games in 2007. Crisis.
Crisis. Can it run Crisis?
Yeah, Can It Run Crisis? That's the year where it came from. Crisis actually was so hard on your PC.
Yesterday, earlier this week, I saw a video online. I don't know. I think it's Digital Foundry. They made a video of a YouTube video. Why was it so hard to run Crisis? Why was it so heavy game at the moment? I didn't check it yet. So, but yeah.
But it was super hard on your PC. You really needed to have a high-end PC to have it even playable. Whereas most games, they aim for mid-range.
Call of Duty 4.
Call of Duty 4, that was the first Modern Warfare?
Yeah, Modern Warfare, yeah. Command and Conquer.
Which
3?
one? There was 3. 3. Tiberium Wars?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. So yeah, a lot of games in that
2007.
Yeah. Oh, check this. We already have a water cooling version. I mean, we recently, Peter did a live stream. And at that moment, we already, sorry for the colors guys, 8800 Ultra OC Liquid. Well, should be better.
So that's like the first generation where we included an all-in-one water cooler.
Yeah, and then we forgot it like 10 generations before it came back.
But it's back.
Yeah, it's back. it's back. So Peter did a live stream about water cooling.
Edward was using a GeForce 6600 back then.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's definitely a long time ago.
Generals, 0 hour. I think it was
yeah,
1 year
also played
later,
that one.
not?
Oh, I'm not sure when Generals.
I didn't like General so much. Yeah, I
thought
played
it was
a
cool.
lot. Yeah, I played a lot, but that
But
was.
You could choose between. You had the United States, you had China, and like Middle Eastern kind of
Yeah.
thing you could choose. But China was way overpowered because you could make
But
those hackers.
At
in
that
Generals.
moment, the Middle Eastern guys, they could explode themselves, right?
Yeah, and you could build like tunnels
Yeah.
and get in the middle of the enemy
This would
base
not
and
be
stuff.
political correct right now.
I think you would get some questions in certain countries now.
Yeah.
But China was way overpowered. You also had those superpower things,
Yeah.
and with China you could throw the atomic bombs and stuff.
Okay, so maybe MSI 1660 Ti. Oh, this somebody got a new 1660, and he got an old card from his brother. Cool. Okay.
So was it one of these, like the 2900 XT
No,
that you got?
it should be a little bit
A
newer.
little bit new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people did a couple of graphic card switches. in
So
between.
go to 2008.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So I will do another giveaway.
And I will do some more
Yeah,
cleaning up
so-
again.
Don't be scared for a wallpaper.
It's a lovely wallpaper. We got a lot of compliments about our wallpaper.
I didn't see that. So the next winner. Oh, he's active in the chat. I saw a lot of questions. Merrick Jep. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
With the game code. Okay. Now I know where you're from.
I think because we're playing our tournament 2004 today, I think everyone
Yeah, so
wants
you know
to play it again. So I think all the winners of the
you
Steam codes, they will
you
just
should
get.
what is the price now in the Steam core?
I think in euros it's 15 euros. So
15 euros. So that's like
yeah, you can buy it with the code.
yeah. Yeah, it's $20 for sure.
Yeah.
You can find it in Steam 2008 already.
Oh, and 2008 was a big year. I have a lot of stuff here from 2008.
So guys, if you want to participate in the giveaway, please go to msi.com/2/insider and I will
Paste it again
copy the link.
in chat. If you cannot see the link on that page, directly go to the link that Eric is posting in the chat right now. They will be directly. You will go to Glean, and there you can perform a couple of actions. The more actions you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win one of the $20 Steam codes.
Yeah.
So 2008. I already see some nice stuff behind us.
P45 diamonds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're already talking about the X38 diamond, where we already started with the water cooling.
Yeah.
We continued with the P45 diamond.
This was also the first generation, I think, Dr. Moss.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was actually now more and more brands are using this. You know, the Dr. Moss solutions, because it was quite powerful. Or it is powerful. It's taking up a lot of small package size. Also, you find them on the high-end Nvidia cards. You find them on a lot of I think many vendors are using this nowadays.
Yeah, especially also on ITX motherboards, you have very limited space. So
But actually, when you have a mainboard, maybe you have one.
Yeah. One from 2008.
Yeah. Or maybe take an older one as well.
Yeah, I can grab an older one.
Oh, that's quite interesting because you know we just talked about DDR2 and DDR3. That it took like 1.5 years. We're now in 2008.
Older one.
And yeah, so and this is okay.
This is a newer one.
So maybe if you look here, this is the VRM. So you see 1, 2, 3. Only 2 are soldered here, but per phase you see 2 MOSFETs, a high MOSFET and a low MOSFET, and you see it's taking up a lot of space. So what Dr. Moss was doing was it's a small chip like this. It's not this one, by the way, but a small chip like this was replacing the whole segment over here. So it saved a lot of space.
The one you pointed at was the PWM controller.
I know, yeah, the VRM controller, yeah. So it was saving a lot of space, and not only that, it was very powerful for overclocking. It was a 3-in-1 solution, which meant it was quite cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was saving up a lot of space around the CPU socket. So people who were doing LN2 overclocking, they could, put large heat sinks over there.
And also by saving up space, you can simply include more power phases.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So what do you have here? This is the
P45 Platinum. So this is like one tier below the one you see behind us. The diamond is like the...
You see...
I think I can better go to this side. There we go.
Yeah, so that's P45
yeah,
diamond.
And that one is with the water cooling.
Yeah, and this one, you see already, this one on the back, it has DDR3.
Yeah, you can see it on the
And
colors.
this one still has DDR.
Yeah, because that's the top tier. So
what I just explained.
Yeah, DDR3 still expensive. So only people that were interested in top tier board were interested in buying DDR3. So this is one tier below the Platinum, and it still has DDR2. But it's still a very interesting board, and it has a very interesting heatsink. So maybe it's a bit hard to see from there. So we already had the roller coaster edition on P35.
Yeah, this was called finger cutter.
Yeah, yeah, I think the P35 was already a finger cutter. But this, yeah, how did you call this?
Finger cutter.
Only the finger cutter. No, I think some people also compared it to an engine.
Yeah, indeed.
So you can see several heat pipes going through there. So here you can also see that not all our motherboards are in good shape anymore. You can see they're bent a little bit. But even more copper, even more heat pipes. It even has 3 right here in between. 1 all the way to the top, 2 back to the south bridge.
Yeah, so this generation, P45 compared to P35, not a lot of changes, right?
No, not a lot of changes at all. It's also on the high-end platform. You had X35, which we just had, and we went to X45 there. They also have something for that, but that's also their small changes.
So the CPUs at that moment. Oh, I see the first Atom was launched.
Atom, yeah, the very
in 2008.
Yeah, not really for gamers, but
no, totally not for gamers.
They were very nice.
I mean,
power efficiency.
Yeah,
and,
so Atom opened up the netbooks.
Yeah,
also, you know the small. I don't know, was it? Probably not $100, but $300 or something.
Yeah, the very cheap small notebooks.
Very
like
cheap small
10
notebooks.
inches, I think they were.
10-inch screen.
Yeah.
Actually, Intel and Microsoft, they had a lot of regulations for it. Because in the beginning it was only, they didn't have any regulations. And people started to make bigger notebook sizes, like 15 inch or something with Atom. And then Intel was, I think both Microsoft and Intel were like, hey, I mean, we want to sell high ASP, and this will, eat away our market share in the high ASP, average selling price, sorry. Eating our market share away in the expensive notebooks, so, let's make some limitations. So it was like the screen should be 12 inch.
No, I think in the beginning even
10 inch, yeah.
And the resolution was 10...
not 1080, 720 I think.
1024 times 600, I
something
believe.
Like that, yes.
And it was a maximum of 1 gig of memory.
Yeah,
you could swap it out yourself to 2, but by default it was only 1 gig of memory.
Special version of Microsoft they also had for Windows.
Because then we went on to Windows 7, and it had the Windows 7 Starter Edition only.
Yes, it was specially made for this. Yeah.
But I think there were quite a lot of people that bought it, upgraded the memory, upgraded the operating system, and then it was
at that
quite
moment
interesting.
to have a notebook just for office work and a little bit browsing, it was perfect.
Yeah. But at a certain point...
And long battery life.
Very long battery life, because Atom was really power efficient, especially for that day.
Yeah.
Now you have all the ARM
I think Atom was like 15 watts? Yeah, different...
I think even lower, some.
Different versions.
Yeah, different versions. I think it was even lower for the
Could be,
early ones. So that was super efficient compared to regular desktops.
But that was Atom, and if we talk about the high end, Wolfsdale is 45 nanometer Core Duo.
That's the one that was introduced with the P35.
Yeah, and then the Yorksfield, and Yorksfield is the 45 Core 2 Quad.
Yeah,
that was the marketing name from Intel, Core 2 Quad.
And And then with the York field, you had, like in 2007, they launched the first version, the QX 9650. And in 2008, they launched also the cheaper.
This is from last year, right? Not from this year.
Yeah, this you can put that one away. That was just to show the MOSFETs and the power.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But then you had the like, they were still quite expensive, but the cheaper, not unlocked quad core 45 nanometers. So you had the Q9550, the Q9650. But also on the higher tier, you got the QX 9770.
That one, can you show the PCI Express expander?
Yeah.
So this was this X48 Platinum. You see it between the yellow slots. And can you maybe turn a little bit? Yeah, that people can read it. You have actually in the middle where you have this roller coaster, it's the North Bridge. Then where you have the MSI logo below the heatsink, it's the South Bridge. And below that...
North Bridge, there, South Bridge. And here there's an additional one. Let me see if we can make it readable.
Yeah, it's the PCI Express expander, which is basically, how they're called?
What's the name again? To create more lanes.
Yeah, but I forget the name. PLX, yeah. So it's a PLX chip to expand into more lanes. But I see still nowadays, you know, jump into 2000, what are we, 19? I see still a lot of people asking, oh, this mainboard doesn't have a PLX chip. Actually, PLX chips, I personally think they're not really needed anymore to have more PCI Express lanes, because you get like 2x8, which is, you know, the crossfire in SLI is not really usable anymore.
Yeah, but back in the day, overclocking was still quite hot, and multi-GPU was popular, and multi-GPU was very popular.
Yes.
So people use these with more graphics cards.
Yeah.
So you got 3. You could if put on 4 if the cooling was okay, because there's only one slide between.
Yeah.
There's no slide in between.
And in the meanwhile, I think 2 years ago, this company PLX was bought by another company, and they only want to focus at server segment. So they raised the price of this PCI Express expander chips, and now very expensive. So I think there will be only a few consumer mainboards which will have this.
And there is not that much use for it anymore either.
No, like what I said.
People are they're mostly using one graphics card, like one really fast.
Yeah. I have some other nice things. 2008, Netflix. I mean, now quite popular. They first started delivering their movies via internet.
Still only in the US, I believe.
Yeah, indeed. PS2 got 30% market share. And then you have the Xbox, which got like 17 market, Xbox 360, I believe.
Yeah.
Got like 70% market share, and they had like 13% was the Wii.
Yeah.
So they took a lot of market share back. iPhone 3GS of 3G got launched, 2008. I mean, then they started with all the apps.
Were you still on the iPhone then?
Yeah. I was still on the iPhone back then, yes. Yeah. So what about VGA?
We have some nice games as well. But that's, of course, more related to VGA.
Yeah.
So on the back you can already see GTX 280. But I have some cards here on hand. I have a lot of cards actually.
GTX 280 still like what we call reference design, MSI, and all the other companies are just putting on stickers like, hey, this is MSI version. Back in those days, the difference on the VGA card was more made like, which game do you bundle with it?
We're already talking about VGA, but Intel did a very big launch as well there.
X58.
Exactly. Still have that one here.
Oh yeah, the Eclipse.
Almost forgot the first generation Intel Core. So this was only still on the high-end platform. Wow. So you had the i7 920 and
this
940.
board is a little bit damaged on the heat sinks. Some logo plates are removed. So actually this is quite interesting. If you see a big gap in colors between these two boards. And you know, this was really colorful. I already told you this was because of the color coding to make it in the manual quite interesting. Oh, sorry, quite easy to understand for all the people who bought something like connect the yellow cable to the yellow slot. And then I found out, I mean, we don't have any yellow cables anymore. So yeah, that was last year. So somebody didn't pay attention. So we wanted to make our mainboards more attractive, so I still remember, so it should be 2007 somewhere, I went to Taiwan. I started then doing product marketing, and then with a lot of people, we started to play like Lego on the mainboard. So you had an empty PCB, you could put in all the slots, you know, and we were just checking with colors, what looks better.
Just trial and error.
Trial and error, you know, and then of course we defined the color scheme. Let's say blue and black, as you can see on this mainboard. We also tried to have a black PCB, and this is actually one of the more, actually we called it coffee black, because it's also not really dark black, it's very difficult to see.
It's like,
It's
dark brownish.
Yeah. If you do it like this, you see it has some brown touches. But you know, from a distance, and especially because there are a lot of black components on there, it looks
Black.
much darker
Yeah.
and black indeed. This was the X58 high-end one. What was it?
And this was later on in 2008, because during that
This
year,
was, I think, even November or
yeah, this is like
December.
the late 2008, because in the beginning you still had the P45.
Like we're going to launch in 2008. Everybody waiting, and then it's like the last month. Yeah, this was towards the end of the year. So how many memory? So triple channel.
Yeah.
I think triple channel,
X58
6 memory
had triple
slots.
channel. Yeah.
Dr. Moss below this. I still remember because here there's a logo plate with DR Moss. This is also one of the first boards at that moment, you know, who had the fancy buttons. Let me.
And not only on the PCB, also on the I/O.
Yeah. This one also came with a LED. You could connect over here, like a big display. We now have on the main boards.
Mm-hmm.
How do we call it now? Dynamic.
Dynamic dashboard.
Yeah, dynamic dashboard. So back then probably we had a different name. So also on the back of the I/O, you still see SATA, still FireWire, the clear CMOS button on the I/O, two LAN. I don't know which LAN this is. It should be
Merrick
Intel.
and Roxy's are discussing the 6 RAM slots. They are not DDR2 and DDR3. This is all
No.
DDR3,
Yeah.
but this is triple channel. So the first generation Intel Core processors, this is the high-end platform. So this is like the i7 900 series, the 920, the 940, the 965.
This is like now you have, what chipset do you have now?
This is what
X299
for Intel,
Yeah.
for the high-end desktop platform. Actually the first Intel Core processor that were launched, so the first Core i7, was not on the mainstream platform but on the high-end platform. So that's on X58. So it had triple channel. Nowadays you even have quad channel, but back then it was triple channel. So that's where the 6 memory slots come from. So 2 DIMMs per channel. So let me see, because
This is Bloomfield optimized.
yeah, Bloomfield is the first
CPU.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the first generation Intel Core.
Yeah. Oh, this is also nice. Here, over here. Let me see. These are our high C caps. So normally we have capacitors like these. These are solid caps. And then on the VRM we had high C caps. So
maybe
they're
we can
flat
switch.
ones.
If you switch to mine, you can see the older ones.
Let me see. So
There.
So
Have
you
the
are
normal
now
capacitors.
you have now X48, right?
Yeah, this is the or the P45 this is, but I can also grab the X48.
Yeah, it's
It
the
has the
same.
same. It has normal solid caps
Yeah,
here.
I'm switching now to me. So
And
here
there's
you
the high
see
C caps.
high C caps. So higher quality. They could heal themselves if they were damaged a little bit. Switching to the slides again, and especially for overclocking, really useful. Yeah, this was a really nice mainboard at the time. High-end board, probably quite expensive. I see some dip switches, you see here, for overclocking, CPU clock, so you could play around. But the generation after this, we had some nice overclocking tool called OC Genie. Still PS2.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still have it on some boards, right?
Yeah, like nowadays we have one red one, and
Yeah.
here it was separate for mouse keyboard.
Yeah, nice board. So, VGA.
Yeah, VGA. I have a nice tech next to me, so behind you can already see GTX 280. But do you remember this one?
Seaweed Blade fan.
There you go.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the custom cards, one of the first custom cards with custom cooling MSI made.
So this is not a design by, in this case, NVIDIA.
NVIDIA or AMD.
This is a 9600 GT.
Yeah, 9600 GT.
Yeah.
So
So
because
this is a custom design cooler.
back in days, 2008, which is like more than 10 years ago, or 10 years ago, everybody was just putting stickers on the coolers, which NVIDIA and ATI or AMD provided.
So they were basically all pretty much the same cards.
Everything was the same, and everybody was trying to have you know, different logo, different slogan, different color box, some different game bundle, to maybe different price, you know, to make the difference. But few cards had custom coolers, so this is one of the first custom coolers, and this is maybe where it started for Twin Frozzer. What, you know, now evolved in Twin Frozzer 7,
Yeah.
and our gaming series, but that's like 11 years later.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, still no HDMI, no DisplayPort. Still the connectors which throughput also the audio.
You could use it with HDMI, but you needed to put on an adapter on the DVI because it also has the audio over DVI.
Yeah, and only
one 6-pin power connector.
One, yeah. Nothing special nowadays, right?
But we have some heavier stuff right next to
Yeah.
it. The higher end cards, because you had the on the AMD side you had the 3870. Do you remember that card?
3870, yeah.
And that was a single GPU card, but they also had Crossfire on one card,
Like
the 3870 X2. So I have it right here. And this is
a
a
collector's
big and
item.
heavy card, and it's actually quite interesting. It only has one fan, so it's one PCB, so it looks like a normal graphics card. But if you look on the back, there you can see that it actually has 2 GPUs. So 1 GPU, 2 GPUs, and already like something like a backplate, not full cover backplate. And you could already see with the cooling, it needed quite extensive cooling as well to cool those 2 GPUs. I'm not sure if maybe you can see it from here. Big heat sinks in there. So that was also quite an interesting card.
This is also a heavy card, right?
Yeah, it's a very heavy card.
And you already saw on the power connectors, the 1x6, 2x8?
Yeah. There we go. So they're not right next to each other, but it has two power connectors. And the interesting thing about this was, for example, if you have...
yeah, all plastic. This generation,
Yeah,
all the
all
covers
plastic.
were all plastic.
But if you were using this on, for example, an X48 motherboard, so you had 2 times 16 lanes, and you could fill them up with 2 of these cards, you actually had quad Crossfire with only 2 cards. And here,
Alex still has this one.
still has it, nice.
Yeah, I think it's for the museum, you know.
Yeah.
This one.
It is, it was a really interesting card. And later on, AMD also launched the 4870 X2. So I have a regular 48.
We don't have the
70
dual
here.
version, right?
No.
So this is the dual version, and you have the single version, but the newer
So this
GPU.
is, yeah, this is the newer GPU.
Yeah, that one sold like hell.
Yeah. I think both of these generations, they were
Yeah,
really
but
good cards.
generation,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
In this generation, AMD, not
AMD
ATI.
was... No, I think this is already where it was
Yeah,
AMD.
this is AMD.
Yeah. Can you switch to the close-up? Here you
Yeah.
can already see it on the PCB. There.
Yeah. So this generation I don't see, but they were really strong. And
Yeah, they were really strong, and the Crossfire was also scaling really good.
Yeah.
So the 3870 and the 4870, they were actually pretty good value. So you could quite easily just put 2 of them in Crossfire.
Yeah.
And it was really fast.
But on the other hand, NVIDIA with 280
Yeah.
was also powerful.
Yeah. It was actually a little bit more powerful, but
Yeah.
it was also quite a lot more expensive.
Yeah,
So it
big
was
price gap.
quite a cost-efficient option to take, for example, 2
AMD.
4870s or 4850s, which had the single slot cooler.
Yeah. And then you still have one beast.
Yeah, a big one. And this one's actually before the GTX 280.
Yeah.
Because this is the 9800 GX2. So as you can already hear from the GX2 part, it's also a dual GPU card.
Why do we still have all the expensive and the fast cards? Well, now they're slow, right?
I think they're a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Like not literally cooler, but
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
They were a lot more impressive, and they had.
This one is heavy, right?
They really, yeah, it's also very heavy, and they really had to do some special things to make it work, because there's also a dual GPU card, but unlike AMD that had them on one PCB, this uses two PCBs, but it's not like they're stacked like with the
this one was upside down?
Yeah, this is upside down. So they're not two on top of each other like we saw in the previous card. But this actually has one right here and one on the other side, and that one is upside down.
Yeah.
But so it's a little bit hard to see that there are two pieces. Here you can actually see it. So here you have the power connector. Two power connectors actually. And there in between you can see one PCB, and on the other side you can see the other PCB. So it's very hard to see on the outside that this is actually a dual PCB card, but it is. And here, also, maybe we can go back to the cam.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because this is where we start to see HDMI.
Hey, one of the first ones.
Yeah, one of the first ones.
This card, did it launch in 2008 or was it end 2007?
No, I think this was beginning 2008.
And then, okay, so this one was beginning 2008,
Yeah.
the high-end one.
Mm-hmm.
And actually this is now what's called, how do you call it? Titan? Of how do you call it for NVIDIA, high-end?
Yeah, it's not really Titan. Yeah, it's different now. It's hard to compare.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and then probably middle of the year, August, somewhere September, the 280 launched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also interesting on this card.
Oh.
You have images on both sides. Usually you only have them on the front, and then you have a regular backplate.
Yeah.
But here, because it's like both the sides of this card are actually the back, because they're always on the back of a PCB. And you can watch through the cooler.
Okay.
So that's a lot of stuff from 2008.
2008.
So we have a very full desk now.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you can also tell something about the games we had in 2008, because we had Fallout 3, Far Cry 2, GTA 4, Command & Conquer Red Alert 2, Spore, Crisis Warhead, all games from 2008. So both in games and in hardware, it was quite a big year.
Crisio Badenhorst, congratulations, you are the winner.
Congratulations.
Let me put it on this giveaway. So in the coming days we will send you a game code. Please go to msi.com/2/insider. I will also paste the link directly in the chat, so you guys can go over there and join. There you have it. Okay. 4 years ago, no, we're only going to talk until 2009 today, right? And then we're going to, actually, then you're going to beat me in some old game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that. So let me check. 2009. Ooh, some really nice products.
Yeah, so the last year for today.
Yeah. So today we're covering 2005 to 2009, right?
Mm-hmm,
and in beginning of April, I'm going to cover 2010 to 2014. 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
And then in 26th of April in 2021, I'm going to... No, that's too far away.
Yeah, then we get a throwback to this era.
Yeah, but if you guys are interested in even older stuff, so from 1995 to 2005, please let me know. It will take a time to prepare because we need to gather all the old stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe a matrix printer.
Yeah, we need to see if we can still find all those old...
Yeah, and then we will dive into that. So, next year.
2009. And on the background we can already see a lot of the color that you just explained, that it was not the RGB edition in in components anymore.
I still remember GTX 295.
I
Yeah,
have
so
a big stack of folders here again.
Yeah.
So let me pass them on to you.
Oh, I see super pipe. Somebody was already in the chat. Super pipe, super pipe.
There we go. Whole bunch.
I should not start with VJ, right?
No. Let's start with motherboard.
So big, so cool. Best marketing slogan ever.
Big tank.
Yeah. Oh, cool. First twin Frozzer. And Cyclone. So I told you, you know, we should not talk about VJ. Anyway, you know, I told you last generation we started with the custom coolers. And in 2009 we made the first twin Frozzer. Can you show them?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first twin Frozzer cooler. Quite cool. But that's for later.
Yeah, we'll show
First,
First motherboard.
This is VGA. Ooh, this looks good.
Because Intel did quite a big thing again in this year, so we already had the first generation Intel Core on the high-end platform. So that was X58, which you also saw on the previous board. But later on in 2009, they also launched the mainstream platform. So the first generation Intel Core for mainstream platform. So then you had the P55 chipset, and I actually have a board right here, which is a very, it's like the start of a very popular series, the GD65.
There's still a CPU inside with some paste.
Paste on there.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a cooler on there and memory in there, and I just took it out all to show the motherboard better. So
yeah, so
the P55.
Do you maybe have the old one, the Eclipse?
Yeah, yeah.
So, because I was talking earlier about how we changed our products and we improved the products, and this is one of the first boards where we changed the color scheme. But then at that moment we got a lot of end users saying, "Oh, you got what is it? You got like 2 PCI slots." And then we thought like, hey, you know, we highlighted the old technology because PCI at that moment was phasing out and was already PCI Express 2.0 at that moment. So that's what we changed in this generation. So you see the color scheme slowly changing. So here we have the PCI Express slots, which are blue because that's a new technology we want to highlight. To get rid of those yellow connectors at the bottom and the green connectors, that cost us a lot of time because we talked with procurement department, you know, the purchase department, who was gathering all the stuff from all the other vendors because, of course, we don't make the connectors ourselves. Yeah, we have so many yellow connectors. We want to consume them, and you know, we wanted to make a very cool-looking mainboard like this and improve on this one. Maybe you can find one which is from before this, like one generation where, like, this is 2009, 2008, 2007. Very colored, yeah. So actually, it's coming from this. Went to
getting more and more neutral. So
yeah.
There's still a lot of different colors with the memory slots, with the PCI Express, and also the connectors on the bottom and on the sides. So already getting more neutral, mostly blue and black, but still the copper heat sinks. Right there.
And that's also what we changed in this generation. Try to look the heatsink, try to make it look more attractive, and I think we did quite a nice job with this one. So if you look at this one, very popular board, that's the right specs, right price, a lot of innovation on this board as well. If you're going to check, super pipe, this had to do with the heat pipes over there, very thick, 10 centimeter, millimeter, not centimeter.
1 centimeter.
Yeah, heat pipes indeed. Then let me see. Oh, actually, you already see the marketing is on the board because in the past we always had those technical, very difficult terms on the board, like all numbers, etc. Nobody could understand. So this is one of the first generations we said, okay, you know, let's put some features on the board that people can actually recognize what we have.
So you can see the Dr. Moss on there, the super pipe on there.
So, sorry, it's all. So Dr. Moss is on the heat sinks.
And also on the PCB.
Yeah, also on the PCB.
With APS.
With APS. APS was quite an interesting technology because this was I think one of the first generations that the CPU could also do boosting and power saving. Because before this generation, let me go to main.
It means active power switching, I think?
Active power switching, yeah. Before this generation, it was all about power, you know. Nobody cared about power saving, the environment, you know. It was all about overclocking faster, etc. And this became one of the first generations that Intel also started, throttle the other way, to make your CPU throttle for less power consumption when you didn't need it. Actually, AMD already had this with cool and quiet technology. And then the problem was still on the main board, all the phases were still running at 100%. So it was quite a lot of power
even when
wasting.
it wasn't needed.
Even when it wasn't needed.
Like
when
if you were writing a document in Word or Excel.
Full power on there.
Yeah.
So that's why we came up with this technology, APS. It was active power switching. So all the phases from the from the CPU for the power delivery, you could switch off one by one. Or maybe 2 by 2, But anyway, yeah, I think it was 2 by 2 in steps of 2.
Yeah.
So if this one had a 6 phase or something, you could make it 4 phase and even 2 phase to run in those low power modes. And that was,
I think we can show the LEDs on top for the APS.
Yeah,
as well.
you even have some LEDs. Over here.
About the memories.
Yeah, some LEDs. So it was really real time showing you how many phases were on there. Were active, I should say. Here we started like this. Here we started with more focus on memory, because I think we already explained to you, in the time of DDR2 and also DDR3, MSI was really bad on memory compatibility, and we knew this. So we spent a lot of time, money, resources on improving this, and this actually
optimizing,
and testing.
Yeah.
And we already improved this on DDR3, but really with DDR4 boost.
Yeah.
And then you did a live stream recently,
also
right?
A dedicated live stream on DDR4 memory.
On DDR4 memory,
and also the layout
etc.
we're using now to really get the maximum performance out of your memory.
So and this is one of the first steps towards that. Then at the bottom over here.
That's the top.
Yeah, sorry. At the bottom you see our OC Genie button. Very easy overclocking. So the last generation, the X58 Eclipse, we still had those dip switches. Mm-hmm. So you needed to change them in order to overclock the FSB. Yeah, okay, I mean, it worked, but it was not really practical. Now with this button, everybody could overclock. Just push the button and your CPU was going to run in a higher multiplier, higher FSB, even if you have integrated graphics. I mean, not for gaming, but even that one was overclocked on some platforms.
And you also had manual buttons next to
it.
Plus and minus.
Yeah, plus and minus. I forgot the marketing name, let me check. Base clock, that's not the marketing name. Direct OC, I think.
Direct OC it is.
Yeah, so this is called Direct OC, which means, and this was more for the extreme overclockers, this was more for the extreme overclockers, but on the fly you could change your multiplier, right?
No.
Your bus frequency.
Yeah, bus frequency.
Okay, yeah.
So for example, while booting, to make sure you can boot stably, you can put it a little bit lower, and within the benchmark you can put it to the top again. Yeah,
indeed. So let me see what's more. So on the back I/O you see, green doesn't show really well. Optical audio, coaxial audio, so digital audio. Still.
And you had the voltage readouts also for extreme overclocking.
Yeah. Still a floppy connector. I think this is one of the last generations. And a PATA, parallel ATA connector. Mm-hmm. These were the V checkpoints, so you could measure the voltage, also for overclocking. And this was, let me see, it's a CPU VTT, DDR, the PCH, which is the chipset, because this one had only one chip, so not a chipset anymore. They called it Platform Controller Hub, PCH.
Yeah.
And then there was one for VGA, I believe. Oh, ground, sorry, two for ground. PCA ground. Yeah. So, and this board was really popular in that generation.
And this was also when, because also the mainstream platform that Intel launched with the first generation Intel Core was very popular. So you had the i5 750, you had the i7 860 and 870.
Let me take this.
Yeah. So then, unlike X58, for example, that was really the high-end platform. Here you only have 2 memory channels. It's a little bit cheaper. It's more affordable, but you still got the new Intel architecture integrated in those CPUs.
Yeah, I see Modern Warfare 2, The Sims, Windows
The
7
Sims 3,
launches. Windows 7, that was also a big step. I think this made me from Windows XP go to Windows 7.
Yeah, me too. I skipped Vista.
Yeah, I did it. I touched it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, I just
too many colors.
Well. Yeah.
Also quite interesting. YouTube hit 100 million views. That's what they do now in 1 second or something.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, that was in 1 year. That was in 1 year. Yeah.
So 10 years ago already.
Yeah. So in the back, also interesting mainboard, 79FX GD70.
There we go.
This was the moment Intel also had those, the 125 watt CPUs, the special editions,
But this is an AMD board.
No, sorry, AMD. AMD had those CPUs, you know. They were rated for 125 watt, brought a lot of problems with a lot of...
They had the Phantom 2 X4 CPUs.
Yeah, so a lot of mainboards didn't run them well. This one with Dr. Moss did. We spent a lot of time on this mainboard, and this was also from engineering side. Was a very good example how people in HU co-work, to engineer, to improve the BIOS. BIOS in MSI was also very big issue. Always spelling mistakes, items which were like on off and nothing changed. I think at that moment, 2009, we also had a lot of issues with VDroop. So yeah, I still remember from Elliot. This is a quite nice story. Elliot from Fitzilla, one of the editors, he was always, he was basically hating MSI because we had this problem, this was not running stable. This wasn't like how he liked, because he really wanted to have something in his, like how he wanted it. And then our engineers spent a lot of time on this board improving it, and this was the first board which got an award from Fitzilla. And this was really big, because he didn't like anything at that moment, and all our engineers were afraid of him. When he sent an email. Like, hey, this is bad, and this sucks, and this, you guys are stupid. That were the emails from Elliot to our engineers. So they were afraid of him. So when we got this award, I made t-shirts for him. I survived Elliot from Fitzilla. So I still have somewhere a photo of our BIOS team wearing that t-shirt. It was quite nice. But this is like 10 years ago.
We have a question in chat. Americ's asking, is this Intel which socket processor? So the board we have right here. Yes, indeed, it's an Intel board. It's a P55 GD65.
Yeah, but on the back?
Yeah, and this is the LGA 1156.
Yes.
So that's like the first 1150 series.
This is actually
Intel.
where it started to get complicated with the Intel sockets.
Yeah.
Because then it was 55, then it was, I think, also 55, but they had a different... I don't know.
You had... After this you had 55, then you had 1150.
Oh yeah.
And then you had 1151, and then you had 1151 generation 2 kind of.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's
So this is like the start of the 1150 series Intel CPUs, or still today actually.
Yeah.
So the mainstream Intel Core platform.
Yeah. You have another board?
Yeah, I actually do. Another X55.
X55.
So
oh yeah,
a micro ATX.
Yeah.
So it's a more basic model than the one we looked at in the 2008 part, because this came out in 2009. So this is really a more basic board.
This is not coffee brown anymore, but it's like.
Like what kind of brown?
No comments. I don't like this anyway. This is the X58M.
Yeah. So the micro ATX version, and it's a real basic board. You can also see it on the VRM. It has no cooling, for example.
Yeah, this was more focused at system integrators.
Yeah.
The people where you buy your PC.
Yeah, this is not a board you're going to overclock your CPU to the maximum with. But it's nice to see the difference also in between the boards.
This is
and
2009.
So a lot more simple.
Bronze. That's a nice
Bronze.
marketing term.
Yeah, bronze is a nice... I'm not sure if I would call it bronze.
Yeah, we call it like poop.
Yeah. But still, you had the triple channel memory, 6 memory slots. and you can fit it in a micro ATX form factor.
Yeah.
So now we're getting used to higher end on.
Yeah, because this was quite a change then. Because normally a micro ATX board was a entry level board, and now we had a high end board at a small form factor. And VGA?
Oh yeah, you can already see on the back the 295. So that was also a dual GPU.
Right?
Yeah. But I also have some cards on hand here. Was this one in the right box? I think that should have been in the year. No, this is 2009. Yeah, could be.
It's 2009, yeah.
Because it's the 4890.
Yeah.
So we already talked about the 4870.
So maybe you
this
can
is a
read
slightly updated
defect.
version.
So you know some engineering samples or dead samples.
Yeah.
Which are tortured too much. Anyway, so I told you about our custom coolers we started with. And we first had this. Can you show me this?
I'm going to grab the predecessor because this is the 4870 and this is the 4890. So this is like the updated version of this one. And here you really have the standard cooler designed by AMD. And here you can see a custom design.
So we started to more focus on making our designs unique, providing better cooling. This one, it was quite a popular card with the cooling, the Cyclone cooling it's called. Because it looks like one eye, really huge cooling, and there were some reviews said it's really good, some reviews said it's really it's not good because this is not cooling efficient. It's big, but and it makes some noise, but yeah, it depended on the GPU. I think we had also some NVIDIA versions of this. And some AMD versions.
I remember the GTX 460.
Could be.
And the GTS 450. They were also.
I remember the AMD versions were really well, and maybe on NVIDIA we had some problem.
You can also see it if we go to the close-up cam. You can see the heat pipes here. They're more extensive than with, for example,
let me see.
The GTS 450 had, I think, 2 heat pipes. This one has 4. 2 very thick ones there. And also in comparison to the 4870, that has 2 times DVI. Here you can already see it has both DVI and HDMI, and also VGA.
Yeah.
So you get more.
It's actually one of the first cars. Yeah, you only have high-end stuff, right?
Here I have.
I want to say this is only one of the first I see with D-sub.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Most of the higher tier cars had 2 times DVI.
Yeah.
But here, of course, you have HDMI as well, so you still have 2 digital outputs.
Yeah. So this is one of the first cards, but it was first custom cards, but quite noisy. And per generation, like NVIDIA, we had mixed efforts. So that's why we put something into some time into this design. I think you even have the color box of this one, right?
I think it's not exactly that one, but it is from another Twin Frozr card. So it's from the 250 GTS.
Yeah, so this is one of the first generations of Twin Frozr. There is one generation...
It is the very first, I think.
No.
No, there is one before?
Yes. It was not
I
called...
didn't know that.
It's not called Twin Frozr.
It
was called like Deep Freezer or something.
Yeah, but that was a single fan, right?
Yeah, what was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I know which card you mean.
We had one card we called like I think Deep Freezer or something, but then we got a lawsuit by a German company. I think like a CPU cooling company. They had the same marketing name. They had a patent on it, so we changed it instead of Deep. No, it was Twin
Freezer.
Twin Freezer or something. Twin Freezer. Anyway, we changed to Frozr. People still know what you talk about.
Yeah.
But it was in written in a different way. And in the beginning, also with these cards, the first generation, was doing really well. 2 fans, custom design, and at this moment, this generation 2009, not a lot of vendors just had reference design. So this was quite unique. That we had some custom designs on the market.
Big heat sinks, many heat pipes.
Yeah, it cools really well. So
that's why we really were able to make a difference from our competitors as well.
So super pipe, So you also saw the super pipe on the main boards. This is super pipe on the VGA cards. This is the
On the bottom you can already see all the heat pipes there.
Yeah. A lot of heat pipes at that moment. Also, as you can see here, special coolings on the VRM.
So this is actually the GTX 285, I believe,
This is
right?
the GTX 285, yes. Let me show you the back of the PCB. Custom PCB.
But still a red PCB.
Yeah, still a red PCB indeed. Those days MSI was quite famous for its red PCB. Of course, we didn't show you that here because we have a lot of more high-end boards.
And I actually have another card from the same era, which is the 260 Lightning.
Ooh.
And here we can see the same cooler. So it also has the twin Frozr cooler.
Yes.
But here you can see we're already shifting towards black PCB.
Yeah.
And I think this was the first Lightning card, right?
Yes, this was the first Lightning card. We had actually two versions, 260 GTX and 260 GTX Black Edition, or Black something, Black Box Edition, because we had a breakout box, a control panel. You could put in your 5-inch drive bay in your PC, and you could actually overclock and control your VGA card. You have the PCB of this one as well?
I don't have a separate PCB of this one.
That's later.
Yeah.
That's next.
We have that for...
Yeah. Here you can also see the cooling block below it. Quite massive.
Yeah. It's quite heavy as well. Like, before the reference cards were quite light usually, except for the dual GPU versions. Yeah. But here, these are like the weight of a dual GPU on a single GPU card. No.
So, and basically what we did since that moment, you know, each generation it's improving on twin Frozr. And now we're on twin Frozr 7 on the 20 series, 2060, 2070, 2080, 2080 Ti.
So in the next episode of A Trip Down Memory Lane with MSI, you can see all the evolution,
we're going,
all the steps of
so we're going
Frozr.
to do 5 years, so that's twin Frozr 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6.
I think 5.
No, oh yeah, we're going to do less. Because sometimes, you know, it took 2 years.
Yeah.
So maybe even only twin Frozr 3. Or maybe 4.
No, 4 and 5. I think you will both have them in the next 5 years.
Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, this was a big step for MSI VGA. And yeah, I mean, we still have twin Frozr designs on 2070, twin Frozr 7, dual fan. We also have triple fan, twin Frozr of the gaming trio cards. And this was the start of all of that. And next stream, I will tell you what I'm now going to tell you. No, but some of these were very popular, others were very bad. Meaning we got a lot of mixed opinions in the market, saying like, claiming, oh, twin Frozr, that's really one of the best cards there is. And others were saying, yeah, twin Frozr, you know, I saw a review, it's not good, you know. So, and at that moment, and that happened with twin Frozr 3, I believe, we started visiting some media with our engineers and asked them, okay, so what is important for you?
What do you like?
What do you like? How do you test? What is the criteria for you? And based on that, I think we made like twin Frozr 4 or 3, somewhere between that. That's for next stream. Otherwise, I don't have a story anymore. And that's, you know, each generation is one of the best cards. But for that, you have benchmarks. You need to judge yourself. So, twin Frozr.
Yeah.
You have one more card, or is it?
No, that was it.
Is it D-Day for me?
That was it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do one more giveaway, so you can all leave. Because
I have a lot more cards, by the way, but that's all for next time.
Because we're going to play some Unreal Tournament, and we did some practice runs, and yeah, I mean, I forgot how you need to frag.
You forgot how to aim?
Yeah, my aimbot is defect. So let me first do a giveaway. And after Unreal, we will do one more.
Also for the people who haven't signed up yet for the giveaway, go to msi.com/2/insider.
I'll show you a great wallpaper. This looks really something like from 10 years ago.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, oh my God.
Looks a bit like a grandma's hat.
Let me...
So if you haven't signed up yet, Eric will later on also put it in chat. If you cannot see the link at msi.com/2/insider, he will put a link that you can go directly into the giveaway. You will have certain actions you can perform. The more actions you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win. And do we have a winner already for now?
No, it's I don't know what it's doing. It's drawing. But this takes too long. Am I still online?
I hope so.
No, I seem to have some internet connectivity issues.
If we want to have a winner, we need some internet.
Mm-hmm. Can we? Are you online or is this LAN?
No, I am online.
Oh, it's working. Looks like it's working. Maybe somebody's downloading something.
It takes quite a long time for me as well.
Yeah, so, yeah, there we are. Draw. Yes, there we are. So the Michael or Michael Morfidakis. Congratulations with your prize.
What was the last name again?
I tried to say it quick, like it sounded right, but Morfiadakis. Okay. Anyway, Michael, Michael, congratulations. So if you still want to participate, go to msi.com/2/insider. Sorry, and I will post a link in the chat. Yeah, so I'm going to switch
Your input.
DisplayPort.
I'm already warming up a little bit.
You don't need that.
So the good old Unreal Tournament 2004. So Eric will be playing in high settings.
Yeah.
Because Eric likes high settings. And I like esports settings, so I have everything switched to low.
That's the only excuse I can have to... let me see, where am I?
I don't know where you are.
It looks like my mouse is inverted. Is that possible?
No, I think you're just watching upside down. Press enter.
No, it's first this.
Escape.
It's this keyboard. No!
You're using the wrong keyboard.
I have like 3 keyboards here. Okay, yeah. Let me take
Eric has to control a lot of stuff at the same time.
Try to control. Okay. Getting there.
So you might already be able to see some difference. My screen is on the left. And as you can see, for me everything's low detail. And Eric's screen is on the right. I'm going to turn my brightness up a little bit.
No need.
Because I think it will be quite hard to see otherwise on the stream. So this should be a little bit better. Can you also maximize your brightness? I think it's slightly dark.
How?
You go to settings. And there, just drag it all the way to the right. Yep. Okay.
So this is Unreal Tournament 2004.
Yep. I think we have to start a new round because
no, I'm doing great.
this one is timed out.
I'm still alive.
Oh, there you were.
Oh, come on! You cheat!
Okay, now we can vote for another map. Let's do a smaller map so we have a lot of action. Otherwise, we just have to search for each other.
Oh no!
And I can kill you more often.
Yeah.
Merrick is already saying in chat, those were the days.
Should I choose or what?
Let me see if we can vote. There we go. Shall we do... Let me see, a smaller map. Gale is a small one.
Yes, how do I vote?
I think double click if you go to DM Gale, if you scroll in the list. Oh yeah, I think double click this should work. Yeah, there we go. So are you ready for it?
Play.
Good luck, Eric.
No, wait.
We already started. Are you hiding?
Yeah. Show me your face first, please.
Ah, there you are.
No. Come on. I really need to watch out that I don't. How?
Just aim and click. It's Instagip. The best game mode in our tournament.
Why did you select this?
Oh, I should have had that. You're lucky you have spawn protection in this game, so I cannot spawn it.
There.
You got a kill!
There you are. Oh, you're probably already alive. Come on!
Yeah, you can respawn quite quick.
Yeah, sorry, I'm saying something again. When
Yeah. Eric activates chat all the time because
Battlefield.
yeah, in Battlefield I think it's on tab to see
no,
the
it's
scoreboard.
not. Yeah, it's tab.
Yeah, and here that's chat.
Yeah, I was checking out my scoreboard.
Why? Play.
This doesn't work well for this. Oh, I see you.
You can jump around them.
Oh, you can jump around. Come on. Ooh, can I knife you? Can I knife
There
you?
you go.
This is. You're having fun with this, huh?
Yeah, our tournament is one of the best games ever.
Come on, just give me maybe one hand.
I haven't played that much Unreal Tournament 2004, but I played a lot of the original Unreal
I
Tournament.
never played Unreal Tournament. I was Doom guy. Whoa.
I got you. Oh. Double kill. Oh, you got me.
Sorry, I'm saying something. Yeah. No, I mean, wait. Come on!
You were walking again. So
Yeah,
I thought it
no,
would be okay.
I was still, again, sorry.
Oh.
Hey, you were next to me, right?
Yeah, you still had spawn protection. So I couldn't kill you. I hit you, but
How do you go?
you don't have to go up. I will kill you before.
This is getting ridiculous.
So I have maximum adrenaline, so now I activated invisible mode, so it will be even harder for you to spot me.
No. How do I see you?
It will be hard because I have invisible mode activated. Oh, you got me.
There
Nice.
you are, invisible. Hey, are you again alive?
Yeah.
I'm talking again.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was trying. What is the green stuff?
The green stuff.
Yeah, some shield or something?
I don't know. Maybe your spawn protection? Where are you? Oh, there. Oh, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get up.
You can use the elevator.
I don't know how.
Look, there.
Oh,
Oh, spawn protection again.
there.
God damn it.
How does it work?
Oh, yeah, we're still typing.
I was.
Sorry.
Oh, again.
Yeah,
Can I disable this button?
I think you can.
Input.
Configure controls.
I'm not sure what I'm touching. Tap?
I think so. Do you want to watch the score all the time?
No.
I think
Say, T maybe.
No, C is crouch. At least by default.
It doesn't say tap.
Mark's asking how you guys install and play these emulators.
No.
No, you would just play it through Steam
Oh.
via LAN connection.
I saw you.
That's how you see.
Yeah.
Get in here. Oh, I pre-fired it too early.
5-minute warning.
Oh, there you go. Nice
Oh.
one. Good shot.
Oh, you. I'm typing again. Can you see that in chat that I'm typing? I mean,
No, I don't think they can see it. It's on the side.
Oh.
And we're playing split screen now.
damn.
We're not using any headsets, so sometimes
Oh,
I don't know where he's coming from.
That's it. That's it. Why
you cannot
I
hear me. That's why you're losing.
Yeah.
Ah. That's the worst excuse
Come on,
ever.
just give me a few seconds to. One moment.
Typing again.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Again. What is it? R. I press R. R is
Why
reload.
You don't have to reload in Instagit.
Yeah, I see you. You're aiming at me.
I'll walk the other way.
R is reload. Hey, the elevator. Ah.
Ready?
Yeah. I'm ready. Oh.
I'll walk to the left. So on your right side. Oh,
I'm going to disable this button. Settings. T.
I just when I activated my invisible mode.
Yeah.
So now my timer is running out.
Enjoy your invisible mode.
It's always when people are losing,
T.
they start to fiddle around in settings.
Currently, I'll just put P. Whatever. I don't need P. Are you still invisible?
Yep.
I still need to enable another key. Ooh, I jumped.
Not anymore now.
Oh, cool.
Oh, you got me.
Again? Moment. Stop.
Oh, yeah, I see you're
stop.
typing.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, there you are again.
I'm not fine. Yeah. Oh, I'm
Stop,
stupid.
stop pressing it.
No. I changed T and I need to change the R. What is R?
I think it's team chat.
Team say.
Yeah.
No, not left mouse. P. Did I save it like this or do you need to...
I think you can just close it.
Yeah? Okay, now no excuse
Just
anymore.
try it out. Press the R one.
Yeah, I'm fine. Don't kill me. Hey, my kill is not working. My ping.
Ping.
Action. My mouse 1 is not working.
So you cannot shoot
It's
anymore.
joystick 1.
Okay, fixed.
Yeah, fixed. No excuse anymore. Oh, there's spawn protection.
Oh, I missed it.
This is like a mirrored level for me, so you probably know where to look.
Yep. Oh, spawn protection. Spawn protection. Is there a way to switch it off so I can spawn kill you more?
My mouse is too fast.
You have buttons on top to change that.
Now it's... Whoa!
1 minute remains.
I always have the idea I kill you, but probably... Now it's too slow.
You killed me a couple of times.
Yeah, I know.
You killed me 7 times.
That's called luck.
Oh, spawn protection.
I even don't see you.
I have the invisible mode switched on again.
Come on.
Left.
In the top right, you get your adrenaline level, and if it's 200, you can
Yeah,
activate.
200, I'm like 55.
Yeah, you need to make kills to
20 seconds.
get
Yeah, I'm working
adrenaline.
on it.
So, if you have 100, you can activate invisible mode or speed mode. Or
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
There, visible, there.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. I hope we don't have. Ah!
10 minutes.
Have won the match.
So what's the score?
55.
55-8.
So thank you for watching.
We can do one more.
55-8.
Yep.
Come on.
America saying, got a feeling Eric is not used to the crosshairs forever in the center of the screen.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enable my.
You're going to use the monitor crosshair instead.
Yeah. There you are.
So we can vote for another map. Any preference?
Yeah. One I can win.
So which one can you win?
I don't know.
1 minute remains.
Let me see.
Hey, look at this. Easy aim.
Nice.
And nobody on the live stream sees what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Eric activated the crosshair on his monitor.
yeah. MSI monitor, so MPG. So, can we really do another one?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, no.
Oh, we can easily do one more. Let's do this one. This is a classic.
Yeah, your favorite
Deck
map.
17. No, I really like deck 16
20
on the
seconds.
old Arnold tournament.
I'm ready. Bring it on.
You still need to vote, I think.
So, tell me.
10, 9,
I think you
8,
click the vote menu away. I'm not sure how you can get it again.
5,
But in a while it will
4,
automatically
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
switch. Yeah. There we
Oh,
go.
easy.
Play.
Huh? La la la
Now
la.
you have the crosshair.
Yeah, I have the cost.
Now you should be good. There you are.
Yeah. I'm catching them, you know? That's also like points. Catching your label beans.
But at least this map is a little bigger, so it gives you more time to live.
No. No, because you can get killed from all sides.
Dropping down. Oh, there you were behind me.
Well, it's just I was lucky I looked into the the right direction.
It worked. If it works, it works.
Even didn't see you.
I was on top of you.
I know. Oh, damn it. I fired and I shouldn't have.
Then I knew where you were.
Yeah. Did you see me before that?
No.
Look at that.
Good shot, good shot.
But you're probably already alive, right?
Yep. No, you're not anymore.
I need to jump when I miss, because until I can shoot again.
I think it just has a certain timeout.
Moment. Frustrating.
Are the was frustrating? No. Oh! You were right next to me.
Yeah. Oh. Ow, 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 ow.
You're killing yourself now?
Yeah. It's -8 somewhere. This is green stuff. What is this? Oh, it's gone.
Green stuff.
Yeah, that was like a...
Oh, good shot. You got me in the air.
I know. What you call a good shot, I call good luck. But the result is the same.
Still, that's a nice shot. Whether or not it's luck, it is luck or not. was wondering if you jumped down or not.
Yeah, I'm easy.
So
Great.
chat, did you guys also play Unreal Tournament 2004 in the past?
Let's give away one more after we finish this match, which is like in a few, like
A few frags.
I'm really like missing like by 10 meters. Actually only 2, but yeah, easy prey over there.
I have invisible mode again.
Oh, I want to say I even didn't see you.
Sounds about right.
So what now? I just camp and wait until you're invisible mode.
Found you?
That was stupid.
I ran out of my invisible mode.
Good. Not good. Yeah, rampage my ass.
Going for the godlike.
This was nice.
Thanks.
5-minute warning.
Just reading chat in the meanwhile.
Yeah, you do that.
I'll just walk around a little bit. Where are you? Are you hiding?
No. But I'm not going into the big wide open.
Oh, looking down. I'm coming for you. You're quite hard to find though.
Yeah, moment. Now I'm camping. Okay.
Oh, there you are.
Ah. I was trying to jump from on the ledge.
Ah, okay. Were you up there?
Yeah.
Ah. Did you use the teleporter to get there?
Yeah.
I saw a laser beam, but I don't know where it came from.
That's best. Next week Battlefield.
Okay.
Left.
Oh, there you are. Drop down. Oh, lava. No, I was on top. Chat, they're saying this gets really chaotic with a dozen of players. Yeah, it does. But it's really cool. I think Capture the Flag is also a really nice game mode that you can play in 2 teams.
Oh, I still see my dead body.
Over my dead body.
Okay, what is this?
2 minutes remain.
Eric is playing on a very high sensitivity with his mouse. I use like a meter to turn around and use a few centimeters. I saw you. Oh, I missed that shot.
Yep.
Ah, I should have had it. Where'd you go?
One minute remains.
I saw you, but then you disappeared again.
Uh-oh.
Are you running away?
No? Ah! Oh, cool.
You killed yourself.
Yeah.
Nice. If you kill yourself too
What is
often,
this?
you will
What
have
is
a
this?
negative score. I think that's where, if you play the non-instagip mode, that's where a weapon spawns.
Why do you have insta-gip mode? That's one shot, one kill, right?
Yeah, because that's the only way you have a chance to kill me, by accidental clicks.
20 seconds.
I have an aim problem. Agree?
Ah, you just had me.
Yeah, I know.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
10 minutes.
You have lost the match.
Okay, I do another lucky draw.
Yeah. So, did you like Unreal Tournament 2004?
Not my kind of game.
Too fast?
No, it's not too fast. I need to play that a lot. Let me see.
Merrick's saying, sad to say, there will not be another new Unreal Tournament coming out anytime soon. No, I think the new version of Unreal Tournament they currently have is not further developed because I think the whole team of Epic Games is working on Fortnite. So they took all the
1 minute
resources from the
remains.
newer Unreal Tournament and transferred them over to Fortnite. It's sad, but it's understandable because Fortnite is a super popular game. So that's where they want to put their effort in.
I cannot draw another winner at this moment, but anyway, I will do that later. So we will select another winner and he will get an email in the coming days. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
And thanks for supporting me in the chat. I saw you all cheering for me.
You needed it.
Yeah. This mouse. Yeah. Too
So
many
for next
mouses.
week.
20 seconds.
Next week, yes. Ooh, our wallpaper again.
Looks nice, huh?
Yeah, so next week we're going to take Washington by storm. Division 2.
I think Peter is going to do that, right?
Yeah, Division 2 will launch, I think, this Friday. Coming Friday.
Didn't it launch already? Or is
No,
it like
no, there was
pre-phase?
they had a
Because I saw some
private
people-
beta, they had
okay.
a public or open beta in the weekends, and then Friday I think it will launch. I think you can already preload.
Okay.
And then next week we will dive into that with some nice GPU.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So see you next week. Same place, same time.
Thank you for watching. Bye
Bye.
bye.